Good morning everyone and welcome to this new art history class. I am Dr. Zanella, together with my correspondent Davide.
Yes, I'm here in my office.
And today we will talk about Notre Dame. Notre Dame de Paris, also called Notre Dame Cathedral, is a cathedral church in Paris. It is the most famous of the Gothic cathedrals of the Middle Age, and it is distinguished for its size, antiquity and architectural interest. Notre Dame lies at the eastern part of the historical earth of the city and was built on the ruins of two earlier churches. The cathedral was initiated by Maurice de Sully, Bishop of Paris, who about 1160 commenced the idea of converting into a single building the ruins of the two earlier basilicas. The foundation stone was laid by Pope Alexander III in the 1163, and the high altar was consecrated in the 1189. The choir, the western facade, and the nave were completed by 1250, and porches, chapels and other embellishments were added over the next 100 years. Now I leave the words to my engineer Vander. Vander, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you very well. Good morning, everybody. Notre Dame Cathedral consists of a choir and apse, a short transept, and a nave flanked by a double aisle and a square chapel. Its central spire were added during the restoration in 19th century, replacing the original, which had been completely removed in the 18th century because of its instability. The interior of the cathedral is 130 by 48 meters in plan, and the roof is 35 meters high. Two massive early Gothic towers crown the western facade, which is divided into 3 stories and has doors adorned with fine early Gothic carvings and surmounted by a row of figures of Old Testament kings. The 2 towers are 68 meters high. The spires with which they were to be crowned were never added. At the cathedral east end, the apse has a large clerestory window and is supported by a single arch flying buttresses of the more daring Renaissance Gothic style, especially notable for their boldness and grace. The cathedral's 3 great rose windows alone retain the 13th century glass. Now I pass again the word to Dr. Zanella. Thank you.
Thank you, Davide. Notre Dame Cathedral suffered damage and deterioration through the centuries. After the French Revolution, it was rescued from possible destruction by Napoleon, who crowned himself Emperor of the France in the cathedral in 1804. The big fire that destroyed the roof of the cathedral in April 2019 was a terrible tragedy. Unluckily today, in the past, the total or partial destruction of the churches by fire was quite common. For example, a fire destroyed most of Chartres Cathedral in 1020. In the city of Reims, the cathedral was badly damaged in a fire in 1210, and at Beavius, the cathedral was rebuilt after a fire in the 1180. The list goes on and on. Isn't it, Vander?
Yes, it is. Even if during the medieval periods of the Romanesque and the Gothic, church fires were less frequent than they had been previously due to the development of stone vaulting, which began to replace the timber ceilings commonly found in European churches. But even a stone vault, as we saw at Notre Dame in Paris, is itself protected by a timber roof, sometimes rising more than 50 feet above of the stone vaulting and pitched to prevent accumulation of rain and snow, and it is what caught fire.
Thank you, Davide. Well, we said the most important things about Notre Dame. For this reason, for today, that was all. See you again in the next episode.